A Wrinkle in Time, the Ava Duvernay film, Disney film. Um, yeah, a lot of people been talking about this movie, and quite negatively, in fact. And so, I walking into this movie, I was a little uneasy about it, how I would perceive it. But let's get into what the premise is. So, after the disappearance of her scientist father, three peculiar beings send Meg, her brother, and her friend in space in order to find her missing father. And the main girl in the movie is Meg, who's played by Storm Reed. And you have a lot of big name people, Oprah, for instance, who is big and only just her name, but also in physical size in the movie. Because she shows up as a giant kaiju monster through most of it. You have Reese Witherspoon, you have Mindy Kaling, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Zach Galifianakis, Michael Pena, Chris Pine. Really all-star cast, super talented people, super talented director, Ava DuVernay. If you've seen her work before, Selma. She also has a documentary on Netflix called The 13th, which is a really great documentary.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's really good about the whole prison system. Which is really well done. And one thing about this movie, when you see it, is you would think watching it, this was the first time half these people have ever acted before in their entire life.
No.
And which is a shame because a lot of the kids in the movie felt like there was no real clear direction with the kids. It's just like they kind of walk around through the whole movie kind of just saying lines with no real emotion behind them, which is a real shame.
That's bad. It's really sad considering Storm Reed, who plays Meg, Meg Murray. She was in the movie Slight. She played the little sister of the main character, Bo, and she was actually really good. And I was actually hoping to see more of her acting skills because she was also in 12 Years a Slave and other things. She's actually a really talented little girl at the moment, and that's a shame hearing that she's got no direction.
Yeah, I mean, and they just feel like it felt a lot like when you see the behind the scenes of Star Wars, the prequels. You ever seen those?
Oh, I have, where it just you understand it makes a whole lot more sense why that movie just does not work on a fundamental level.
Yeah, and if you
They
ever,
just have, especially for Hayden Christensen, who was given no direction,
right,
especially and Natalie Portman, especially those two.
yeah, and that's what a lot of it feels like. It feels like when you watch the behind the scenes of those, with George Lucas talking to Hayden Christensen, he's talking to him, and Hayden Christensen has this look on his face like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, I have no idea, and that's what a lot of these kids walking through the whole movie feels like. It feels like they were given no real sense of direction or no real place because they seem really terrible in the movie, and especially there's one of the kids in the movie who is Derek McCabe, I think is the kid's name. He plays Charles Wallace. It was also kind of annoying how they kept addressing the kid by almost his full name. Like they don't just call him Charles. They kept calling him Charles Wallace. Like every time, he's the adopted son of the Chris Pine and Gugu Mbatha-Raw. He's their like adopted son, and so that kind of got a little annoying a bit. But he was just so precocious, so just I mean he was so upbeat that it was a little annoying at times. Like, okay, just crank it down a little bit to like 7 or 5, just a little bit. Like you're just at like you're at like an 11 right now. But something happens with his character that actually turned out to be kind of. I actually thought that was kind of good. Like what happens with his character towards the end of the film, that was actually pretty good. I thought he did a really good job with it. But that got a little annoying after a while. And then a lot of this film, like for all its colors and all its brightness and you see all these visuals, a lot of the movie just feels lifeless. It just feels like a lot of these worlds they go to, you don't feel like any sense of place in these worlds. It just feels like these are just different, places they had the actors stand there and they put a different CGI background behind them. And then a lot of the green screen in this looks bad. Like you can really tell, okay, a lot of this looks pretty bad and pretty rough, which is a shame. And then I think a lot of the film really struggles to make sense. It's like, okay, like the movie kind of moves at a pace where it's like, wait, what's happening? Why is this happening? Wait a minute, why can this character do this? And where are they going? And why are they doing this? Like Reese Witherspoon's character, because she shows up, she's Miss what's it? She's one of the three. You know, her and then Oprah, she plays Miss Witch, and then Mindy Kaling plays Miss Who, and then Reese Witherspoon as what's it? She's the first person that you interact with out of the three, and she just shows up. It's like her real place to show up is like, wait a minute, how did you get here? What are you like? What are you doing here? Like even in a fantasy movie, you still have to set up some boundaries of
Right,
what
right. Even
can,
in a fantasy, you have to set up some form of internal logic.
yeah, of who can do what, how can somebody do these things that they can do.
Right.
You know,
Very few series have ever done a what is going on and have ever been pretty good. And usually because it has a either a character who is the anchor for everyone else, like Alice in Wonderland,
yeah,
or the story in itself understands what it's trying to be and doesn't mind throwing you curveballs.
right.
But it seems to me like it just seems to be random for the sake of being random.
Yeah, like there's just lots of stuff that kind of goes nowhere. Like there's a scene where Reese Witherspoon character, you know, she turns into like a Pokemon, flying Pokemon or something like that, and then they jump on her
Okay.
back and they fly around. But that it's like, what was the purpose of that? Because like the scene doesn't really go anywhere. It's like, okay, they fly around and then it's like, what was even the point of doing that? Like that doesn't go
Okay.
anywhere. And I was like, okay, whatever, you know, like, and a lot of it is just super kind of dull and kind of moving from one beat to another, but with no real motivation or no real kind of sense of urgency or anything. It's just, and I mean, I was just like, okay, like, I mean, I think this would have been a good movie to maybe to get high to. If I was on LSD, maybe I would have really been losing my shit. Maybe loved it, but just as a movie, I was just like, what the hell is going on? And when they show and they go so quickly into the fantasy world and into introducing all these elements, you don't really get a sense of the kids much as characters because they jump into it so fast. Like you know, you can tell a little bit that Storm Reed, who's Meg and everything, that she's being bullied at school. Why she's really being bullied at school, you don't really know. Like she just seems like a person kind of just wants to be left alone. It's kind of she's shut down emotionally because her father left, and she just kind of seems like a person just kind of like, okay, I just don't want to be around anybody, and she just kind of feels lonely. But then the girls in school, they pick on her, but it's like, why do you pick on her for? You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't really understand it too much. And then the teachers, they talk shit about her and then the other little boy who's her little brother. Like that actually was kind of a funny scene in the movie. Actually, like two teachers are just sitting outside, they talking crap about the boy because they said that boy is he's smart. Oh yeah, he's a genius, but he's so weird. Like that boy is just so odd and strange. I was like, wow. I was like, they just don't care. They talking shit.
It's kind of realistic though.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever been in a school, teachers will talk shit about kids and stuff.
Oh yeah, they will. They
yeah.
have. I have a friend who is has both parents are teachers, and while they are respectful of their students, they will if they have a problem kid, they will talk about it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And
they will not mince words.
And then the little boy, the Charles Wallace boy, yeah, he could hear everything they were saying, but they didn't know he was there. And they say, even they were talking about the dad. It's like, yeah, that dad probably just left somewhere with another family, another woman. Damn. It was, and then, yeah, and then the kid heard him, and then he was talking up to the teacher, and they said, well, Meg is smarter. She has more potential than she does in her pinky than you do in your whole body. You're just a sad individual. That's why you gossip about other people. So I was like, that was kind of good. I thought that kind of scene was kind of good, But the boy is kind of weird, kind of just a little too happy, a little too precocious. Like I said, I mean, he reminded me a lot of, I don't know if you noticed, but Young Sheldon, like they do a spinoff from Big Bang Theory, focusing on the Sheldon character from Big Bang Theory.
I was never that big of a fan of the Sheldon character anyways.
He kind of feels a little a little like that to me, because like he like is a little kid, but he dresses like a 30-year-old man. Like he wears like little sweaters and with
Mhm.
button ups and stuff like that, like with khakis and button up shirts. And I'm like, what? I mean, what little boy dresses like this? But I guess because he's supposed to be someone that's portrayed as being so smart, even for being such a little boy. That's the way he dresses. He dresses like he's a 30-year-old Oxford college professor and shit like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of the film just feels very aimless and very like doesn't really have much sense of direction, which was a shame because I like Ava Duvernay. I really do like her a lot, like her work, but this was not her best thing, and it just feels like what really happened here, because like this film feels really edited to hell. Like you can tell like lots of stuff is just cut out or edited to maybe give this movie a more like you could explain some more stuff. Like the scene in the trailer where there's a scene in the trailer where she's Meg, where she's explaining the whole theory and the like the title of the film, A Wrinkle in Time. She's explaining all that stuff, but that gets cut out of the movie. So it's like, damn, okay, where the hell did that go? That could have added some more context to the film. Yeah, it's a shame, man. I don't think the kids have much chemistry together, and I don't think the characters really are that charismatic at all. Like Mindy Kaling is Miss Who. Like she talks in quotes. Like she talks like gives quotes about Winston Churchill and Outcast and Macy Gray, and then you have Oprah as Miss Witch. Who actually kind of liked Oprah as Miss Witch. I thought she was good. Listen, I'll never talk bad about Oprah. That's Oprah. I ain't never talking bad.
I was about to say
that's Oprah, and even her.
I thought that was a blood oath almost everybody took.
Yeah, even her as giant Oprah, I still liked her. I thought she was okay. And then Reese Witherspoon being kind of this flighty kind of character, and she's kind of a little bitchy too. She's kind of a little bitchy, which I kind of found funny a little bit because she talks crap about Meg and everything like that. Because like I said, that character's so cut off from everything, and like it's one of these movies where you need to believe, and it's all about love, and you need to open yourself up to the world and all this type of stuff like that, and then she's totally just not. She's kind of over it a little bit. And then she said, and then like Reese Witherspoon's character says, "Well, I don't even know why we brought her. Damn, can we have left her there? I mean, like, can we have left her back on Earth? Why would we bring her back to space and everything like that? You know what I mean? Like,
damn."
So I thought that was kind of like, damn.
Wow, the adults on this movie are like hitting it out of the park. They're just not taking shit.
Yeah. And then, like she's talking crap about her while she's there. She hears everything she's saying, and then the Oprah character's like, she can hear you, right? And she's like, "Oh, my bad. Sorry." Like she doesn't even care. But I mean, there's so many people that kind of pop in and out. Like Michael Pena, he's in this movie. He kind of pops in and out. It's like, okay.
Wait, Michael Pena's in this?
Yeah, he's in this, and he plays like this character. Who's a little bit of the representation of the it. Because, again, this is super kids. Like, Ava Duvernay, she's constantly said, like, this movie's all about for kids and for the younger kids. And,
don't give me that shit.
And how do they portray evil or people who are bad in younger kids, like children's films? The thing is, like, the darkness, the it. You know what I mean? I was expecting Pennywise to pop out. Like, you keep talking about the it. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Like, the it. The darkness, it's spreading, it's weakening
PG it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's weakening our powers, all that type of stuff like that. I was like, okay, whatever. And then when they actually show the it itself, it's just like it's just like really bad dark clouds and stuff like that. And I was like, it kind of looked like the creature from Green Lantern, like the Ryan Reynolds movie, like just stuff like that. So I was like, okay. This looks really bad. I mean, I know I've been kind of crapping on this movie a little bit. Like I said, I like some of the three characters like Oprah and Reese Witherspoon. I thought they did okay. I thought they were nice. Gugu Mbatha-Raw, she feels like she's the only one that's kind of maybe trying in it, or she knows what her role is because she's just the mother, and she kind of. Like she kind of feels like she knows what she's supposed to do. Chris Pine, he's the person that's been trapped for all these years in this place and wants to just, protect his children and discover the universe. And he kind of feels he knows what he's doing in the movie, but everything else is just really poor, and it's sad. It's really sad. So I mean, I gotta give it a thumbs down for that. Hello, thanks for checking out our content. If you liked it, let us know, and if you didn't, let us know that as well. If you want to see more content, we post every Saturday on SoundCloud and YouTube at The Afternoon Tune. You can also find us through various social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all one word at The Afternoon Tune. And if you don't deal with any of that social media stuff, you can also find us through our email at theafternoontune@gmail.com. And don't forget to always stay tuned.